In this video, we're going to show you how to create some laser cut Christmas ornaments. And before we get started, the first thing you're going to have to do is open up the template that I've already made. It kind of looks like this, but yours won't have this Christmas tree in it. So you're going to navigate to our shared drive. So you're going to go open and navigate to our shared drive and open that up. If you don't have me in class, I will email you the template if you don't have our shared drive. So go ahead and open up this template, and then the first thing I want you to do is save it. So if you have me in class, you're going to save it into your student folder, which is in our shared drive. So you can navigate there, or if you don't have me in class, you could just save it on the computer for today if you're in our STEM club. So navigate to your student folder, and you can make a new folder called Ornament. And then I'd like you to rename the file and call it last name underscore first name. Type in your last name underscore first name underscore ornament. That'll help me easily identify whose is whose later on. And then go ahead and save it into that new folder that you made. So now that I've saved it, the next thing we're going to do is type your name below the drawing space. So this is the area that we have to work in. In case you're wondering, it's a 4x4 space, so that's the biggest your ornament can be. So double click on that name, and let's go ahead and type in your full name. So I would type mine in. And again, that's going to help me later on when I go to laser cut to easily identify whose is whose ornament. Alright, so that was step 2. The next thing we need to do is start to determine a design, which is probably one of the funnest parts about this, because you have the freedom to pretty much fill this space with whatever type of ornament you want. It really technically doesn't have to be Christmas themed, but I figured since we are in close to the holiday that we could do a Christmas one. But you have the freedom to do whatever kind of ornament you want in here as long as it is school appropriate. And you can do a design, you can add text, so keep that in mind. But I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on some designs, and I'm also going to show you some examples. So let's talk about that, and then we'll jump into actually drawing it and creating it. So let me show you a few examples, and these examples were provided by our friends over there at Carl Sandburg High School. The teacher over there kind of sent me some examples that some of his students did. So shout out to them and thank you to them for sharing this project with us. So these were some of the designs that students came up with. Just so you are aware, I did notice that this one, when we did laser cut it, because these pieces are so thin, they become very fragile. So you got to watch out for that in your design. So when we cut that out, some of these, I believe this one almost broke off right away when it came out of the wood, or when it was cut out of the wood. So be careful with that. You want to avoid really thin pieces. So just keep that in mind. And just so you could see, you'll see here, this is that snowflake that was cut out. So this part actually almost broke off. So you want to avoid really thin pieces. Whereas this one, it wasn't as bad because everything is nice and connected with this round circle area. So maybe if these were somehow connected, I know that may not look as well, but keep that in mind as you go through this design process. You want to avoid thin pieces. So, how can you get some inspiration? Definitely just go online and maybe just do a Google search. What you're going to want to do is, I just searched Christmas tree clip art, or depending on, maybe you want, think about what you want and then look up like clip art, or look up a silhouette. So you type in whatever you want and then add the word clip art or silhouette, and you can find some good pictures maybe that we can use to trace. Or if you don't want to use a picture, you could simply just freehand whatever you want. So it kind of depends on, do you want a picture or do you just want to freehand and draw your own? Totally up to you. But you're probably going to get a better design if you do use a picture. So let's talk about how to do that. So let me go back a step here. I kind of liked, where did that one go? This one. I kind of like this one. Very basic, simple, and then maybe I can add a little bit of my own creativity to this, add in maybe a design inside of here, or maybe add some text. So this is the picture that I'm going to use to trace. So that's the first thing you're going to have to do is locate a good picture to use. Again, you want to, the more intricate it is, the more work you're going to have on your end, just as a heads up. So I'm going to stick with something basic and then kind of turn it into my own thing. Once you find the picture, you're going to want to save it. So I'm going to save this image. And again, you're going to save this into your student folder. For right now, I'm going to drop mine in my Ornament folder. And I'm just going to call it tree picture. So you're going to want to save the picture. So again, you have the option to freehand or download or save a picture to trace. So now that you have the picture saved, we need to make sure that we insert it in the picture layer, which I've already created for you. We'll talk about these other two layers in a second. So I'm going to click on this picture turn off, and I'll explain why I named it that towards the end. But navigate to that layer, and then we're going to go up to insert up top. So we're going to go to the insert ribbon, and we are going to go to, I believe, attach. Yeah, we're going to attach that picture. So I'm going to click on that, navigate to wherever you saved it, and there's my tree picture. So I'm going to click on that and hit open. I'm going to leave all this. Notice it says specify on screen. So it wants you to, you're going to tell it where you want to insert it and also the scale that you want. So I'm going to click OK. Now yours may come in really, really big. So when you left click once, you just specified the insertion point, and then as I move my mouse, I'm determining the scale. So right away I can kind of fit it to my work area that you have there. You want it to stay within that work area. Now if yours comes in gigantic, you can just click. So let's say this happens, that's fine. It's really simple to make it smaller. You just click on the edge of the picture. You got to make sure you're on the edge. Your blue nodes will pop up, and you can grab that thing and click and drag it down. I thought you could. Wait, come on. You are not cooperating now. I did this earlier. Why aren't you getting smaller? So I think I might have to scale this thing if it comes in really big for some reason, because that might happen to a few of you. So if yours comes in really big, I'm going to click on the edge of the picture, and then I'm going to use that scale tool, and I need to click somewhere down here to specify the base, and then I'm just going to make it just so it fits inside of there. So I'm going to left click again, and there we go. So we got the picture. If I click on the edge, you'll also notice that the ribbon changes to the image ribbon, and I'm going to fade this picture a little bit so it's kind of transparent. So I'm going to drag this fade slider over, so that way I can kind of draw right on top of it, use it so I can trace it. I hit escape on the keyboard to get out of that, and then what else do we got? So we determined our design. I determined I wanted to use a picture, so I saved that picture. I located it and I saved it, and I inserted it in the picture layer. So next what we're going to start doing is creating our design. And this video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to stop it there, and in the next video we will start tracing and drawing, and I'm going to explain some of these other layers up here in preparation for the laser cutting.